Awesome. Welcome back, Tributes. Happy Thursday. There's no news for us this week. It's a dry and sad week this week.
Absolutely nothing.
Womp womp.
I was asking Emily, I'm like, oh, oops. I was asking Emily, like, is there anything at all? And Emily's like, nope. So here we are with some short chapters of Ballad. This might end up being the shortest episode we've ever had because there's no news and these chapters are very short. So we'll see.
Possibly. Oh, there was an interview or something today from Sam Claflin where he mentioned the Hunger Games.
Did he really? Oh, he's doing press for Daisy Jones and the Six.
So
that's
kind
exciting.
of fun. I think he was talking about watching scenes back and kind of cringing a little bit because he was so nervous about the part and feeling like he has more confidence as an actor now and would maybe like play some of the scenes like even more kind of confidently, but he did a good job.
He did.
I love him. He's so cute.
He's so nice.
Amazing job.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I would love to see him at the premiere for Ballad, if they like invite other people back. Because I still don't have his autograph, but he's so nice.
Yeah, he really is.
It's my little bit of Hunger Games news, I guess. Always something. There's something.
There's got to be something, please. But we are talking about chapters 7 and 8 tonight. And last week we ended on Arachne getting slashed in the throat, which is absolutely terrifying.
Great cliffhanger. I mean, great chapter ending.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I think we were talking about how it really captured our attention from the first part of Ballad. Like it kind of was slow from the start, but that was like, at least for me, where all of a sudden things kind of shifted into gear and changed.
Yeah, both these chapters, I feel like there's a lot going on. A lot happens.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Yeah, some of my favorite things, well, one of the most interesting things happen in these chapters. So much action.
Dun, dun, dun. So shrieks come from the audience and Coriolanus jumps forward to help Arachne, but realizes pretty soon that there's nothing that he can do. But he looks like the hero, and that's what he wants to look like, is the hero.
That's what matters.
Mm-hmm. And he only jumps forward because of Lucy Gray.
Yeah, she shouts, help her. Which is kind of like, is she really saying help her, like, because she thinks he should help, or he should help because there's cameras, or I don't know. Maybe she's genuine. Maybe she's not.
She might be.
I was gonna say, someone literally just got slashed in the throat. I mean, I feel like no matter what's going on, like that's like a pretty unexpected, like dramatic turn of events.
Yeah, I don't think everyone is as narcissistic as Corio is. So I feel like Lucy Gray would be a little bit more genuine.
But is she that like nice or like that, I don't know, helpful that she would be saying that? Because everybody else is kind of not reacting at all.
Well, that might be her like trauma instinct. When you're like fight or flight, she might be someone to move towards it instead of freezing or running away.
Plus, there's also the fact that she's still in that enclosure with Brandy. I mean, that's like, you're like, oh, what's going on? And then people are already killing each other unexpectedly early. I'd be like, someone do something. Like, I don't care what you do, just do something.
I think it's crazy how the District 10 girl like still goes to take the cheese sandwich, and then all of a sudden it's just like her getting shot a ton of times. Like I can picture that in the movie and just the chaos of that happening. Oh, and the part where he's like, if he forced air into her mouth, wouldn't it only spill out the gaping wound in her neck? I'm like,
yeah, the detail of this whole sequence, I feel like this is maybe the most descriptive and graphic that Suzanne has ever like been up to this point.
That's very true. Yeah.
Potentially, I think of, well, if you're talking if you're in specifically within ballad, I would agree with you. But she gets so graphic in the first book in the Hunger Games of like the Tracker Jackers.
Mhm.
Peeta's
Like, she-
leg. Have we forgotten?
Mhm.
Yeah,
Oh, true. I mean, I guess the thing that I thought of with this was
Within
that was
Ballad.
also graphic from the first book was like Cato and his death.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
But I don't know. There's a lot here.
Mhm.
So there's a lot in a lot of places, but it just, I don't know. Maybe it just feels like the most graphic to me, but it is graphic.
Indeed.
And
So
then,
graphic, it leads him to having like a flashback.
yeah, like
Mhm.
PTSD.
Mm-hmm.
And then all of a sudden, Sejanus is seen sprinkling a handful of something white over Arachne's body. Or not, or the District 10 girl's body.
I wonder
is-
why. Yeah, I wonder why he's doing that.
It's his funeral thing. Because we talked like when we talked about in our episode about like holidays and festivities.
Mhm.
We forgot to mention this part, but that's something that they do in District 2, which I thought was interesting that we just forgot about this part when making that episode.
Yeah.
We did. I thought we talked about that.
We talked about it when he went into the
The
arena.
arena.
Oh, I
Yeah.
see.
See it
Oh, wow.
like yeah, it makes sense that it's a district tradition, but it's just like a chaotic context for him to
Yeah.
be doing that. Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's what I was thinking. I kind of just picture
Yeah,
everyone
yeah.
screaming and freaking out, and then he's just like hunched over, like putting some crumbs
Honestly,
on
it's
a
kind of
body.
weird.
It's totally weird.
Mhm. And
We don't really
then
have anything till he goes home. Or
Yeah,
Right.
does he go home?
well, he like is leaving with Clemencia, and Clemencia's like, "Do we really have to still write this paper? Like, Dr. Gall is not going to expect this." And he's like,
Are you serious?
"You know Dr. Gall or what?"
It's like hoping for a snow day and canceling school.
Yes!
It's like, no, they're not gonna do that.
That's exactly what I was thinking.
Yeah, I thought this line was telling of Snow on page 103 at the bottom of it. And he wasn't sure if it had to do with sorrow over her death or unhappiness over his own
Mhm.
difficulties and the context of him crying.
This reminded me a lot of, it feels like a parallel to the end of the book when the same thing happens when Sejanus dies. And he has this kind of 5 minutes of painful sobbing. And then you're like, yeah, he's more sad for himself though.
I never made that connection.
I don't know. I just remember when he's like sobbing
Yeah.
when Sejanus dies, and like that moment really like stood out to me because like I was like really sad too. I was crying. So
Yeah. That would make sense for him to have this pattern.
I just keep writing the word sociopath in this chapter, like especially in like these few pages, because like is it a coping mechanism for him to go home and to like channel himself into work during grief, or is he just a sociopath?
That's good.
yeah, there is that one line. Who says that everyone handles grief differently? And I'm just like, I don't know if he's handling grief differently or he just doesn't have grief.
Right.
So he's writing his little paper.
Mm-hmm. Ooh, on top of 104. Let's see. And okay, so something I have a question. I wonder why they opened up delivering food to everyone within the districts, because here he said it says a sponsor would have to be a capital citizen in good standing who's not directly related to the games. And I wonder why they made the choice to open it up later on in future games of districts can send gifts.
Yeah.
Right, because the whole district sent the bread to
Right.
Katniss.
Right. I wonder why they did that.
Interesting.
That's a good point.
I can't see the connection yet. Like how
Maybe it's just like the whole idea of like giving hope. And
that's a good point, yeah.
Maybe Suzanne forgot.
oh my gosh, Emily, you're
I mean,
Could you imagine?
you're so
Oh.
negative.
I'm just saying it could happen.
That's so funny. I like when he's talking about Livia Cardew on page 105. And he's like
several comments about
so
Olivia.
self-absorbed. And I'm like, really? Are you seriously saying that about her?
Coriolanus to the rescue. Olivia to the nearest exit. So funny.
So ironic.
And I love at the bottom where someone suggested that he cared for Arachne like a sister, and although he'd done nothing of the sort, he allowed it.
No need
Yeah.
to disrespect the dead.
How convenient. Yeah.
He's just so awful.
He's so funny.
I know that's the thing. Like, he's so awful, but he's hilarious. And I love the way that she writes his character. Because it's like you don't root for him at all, but you just laugh at him and you laugh with him. And I think that's so funny.
And the beginning of 106, Satyria, who spoke of Arachne in glowing terms, her audacity, her outspokenness, her sense of humor, all the things Coriolanus
Yes.
thought as he dabbed his eyes that were so annoying about her.
I know, I highlighted that. I was like, are you kidding me?
It's so good.
That was pretty funny. Yeah.
He's funny. And then I just like how they rush through it and they're just like, classes would resume after lunch. Like, oh, okay. Like, they're all mourning, but it's really just like a snap and it's over.
Right.
They're over it. I forgot how many people we were down already at the beginning. Like when we're going through crossed out.
Like right now?
Yeah.
And
Or
there's
did
we're
I
down
cross those out?
we're down 2 people.
Oh, never mind. I crossed those out later on. I went back and made my own notes. I was like, wait, why are there so many names crossed out?
Speaking of crossing out, on the top of 108, him and his classmates are so quick to cross out the name of the girl from District 10, but he like stops whenever it's time to cross out Arachne's name.
Mhm.
He's like, it seemed pretty cold to scratch her off the list like that. It's like, what about
That hits different. Let's not do that.
yeah.
And
It's
then
like-
it's oh, sorry, what were you gonna say?
No, I was gonna say like you're only human if you're capital, you know.
Mhm.
Yeah. Another one of those lines. But I was gonna say, Coriolanus felt a combination of excitement and nervousness to see Dr. Cole. Like, what? Why are you excited?
A real
What?
psychopath.
He's obsessed.
Obsessed.
Oh,
Obsessed.
gosh, that's
Absolutely.
scary.
Someone's got a crush.
Aw.
And then I think it's interesting because Clemencia asked him, does anyone really like the games? And like,
Yeah.
it makes him think about that as well.
Well, but it's also interesting that she just doesn't say no.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't like them. She kind of has to feel out, okay, well, what does everybody else think first? And like, that's kind of what I'll go with.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I think it's interesting that let's see at the top of 109 right before that but she's operating with a whole different rule book. That phrase rule book, that reminded me of Gale and Beatty's conversation
Mm.
of the Capitol's rule book and them having that argument of, well, should we just play by their rule book or not? And not like having it fair or unfair in this in war, you know.
Mhm.
Oh, I like that connection.
I just feel like Suzanne doesn't write different rule book often. And so for some reason I remembered that.
Yeah.
And at the bottom of page 109, at the Peacekeeper station, their retinas were scanned. I really hope they have cool technology like that in the movies. Because I know
don't
it's
think
like,
they will.
It's
Yeah,
like-
I don't think they will. If
I
they have a
underlined it
TV like
too.
that.
see, that's why I'm like, I kind of have beef with some of the set photos because it looks old, but I want the technology to be cool like in the book.
But I feel like it's not even like that in the movies.
Yeah, but like, come on, it's 2023. You know what I mean?
It's
You got the
2023.
Grand
Yeah, but we're
TV.
going in the past.
Oh, I just want it cool.
I don't
wanna
know.
see
If
someone's
that happened,
retinas
I'd
get
get like
scanned.
Incredibles flashbacks. So I don't know.
The Hunger Games, but make it Jetsons.
Right.
Yeah, let's go. I'm here for it.
But I would too. I think that would be super cool.
One thing, okay, I don't know. Did anyone else notice this, or am I just dumb? So when we get to the snakes, they're neon pink, yellow, and blue, and Lucy Gray's dress includes pink, yellow, and blue. Am I dumb?
Mhm. No, I think that's a fair connection.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She said
I
she
think
was
that also.
inspired
Oh,
by
sorry. Go
her.
ahead.
Oh, did she say she was inspired by her?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm dumb.
No, you're
Plus, I
not
feel
dumb.
like Plus, I feel like it does like a cool thing for the reader because it confuses even more who is the songbird and who is the
Yeah.
snake.
Yes. Exactly.
Oh,
That's what I was thinking. I thought I was a genius, but okay.
It's like Lucy
Yeah.
Gray is the snake. Yeah.
well, we'll see.
We'll find out.
Well.
As the teaser tells us.
Yeah. And I thought it was interesting how he liked being so far underground. Like that's just a
Yeah.
weird thing to point out for a character.
It just
Why didn't he
reminds
move to
me of the
13?
scene in the movie when he's excited that the arena has moved underground.
Right.
Oh my gosh.
Giving me real Mockingjay. Mockingjay vibes.
I love the little tease that we get of the creatures when they walk
Oh, I
into
hate
the lab. It's like a
Oh.
little preview of what's to come.
Yeah.
I think it's the most disgusting thing out of this whole book.
I
This
can't
whole
wait to
series.
see. I hope the lab is cool in the movie.
Me too.
It better be cool. It better be creepy.
I think it's the most sinister aspect of the entire series.
Yes.
Ugh, hate it. Hate it so much. But I want to see it. But I hate it.
I remember reading this part for the first time and
And
just
being like,
being
"Something's
so
fishy."
thrown off. Like I was like, this is suspicious. And then what ends up happening, I'm like, I did not expect that at all.
I
Me
love her
too.
line. I just wanted to make sure you'd both had your hands on it.
Mhm. Like she's telling you what's going on. She's very straightforward, but at the time you're like, what the heck is happening?
I just wonder how the movie's gonna do this because like there's a lot of suspense when you're reading it, but thinking about it visually, like picking up a piece of paper in a little tank, I don't know, that's not cinematic at all. So I wonder if they're gonna change it.
Yeah, that's a fair
Just
point.
change how this happens. Because I probably would. But I don't know what I would do.
Yeah, I was gonna ask what you would do then.
I don't know, because
I don't
there's
know,
so much
I
that
feel-
goes into the smell of like the hand on the paper. Yeah,
See, I
I
feel like
don't
they
know
can
what.
make it really creepy if they did it well. Like this could be a cool scene.
Okay. Yeah,
In
maybe.
my opinion. In my opinion.
That's my opinion.
I guess I just can't like, I mean, I'm not a director, so I can't visualize it
Mm,
very well in like on the movie screen. So
right.
I'm interested to see what they do.
Ugh. And then my least favorite part, getting bitten by snakes. Ugh. No, thank you.
Fangs into her flesh. That's crazy.
Good chapter ending.
Mm-hmm. Very
That's
good.
what
very
we
good.
need to tier rank is chapter endings.
I
Yeah, we
agree.
do.
I
We
think
do.
we need to do that. We need to go book by book and then overall.
Yes.
Yeah.
Then this chapter also starts with screaming, like the last one.
We've got the neon pus dripping down her fingers.
Oh,
Mm.
I love that. Will she die? Anyone's guess.
I'm like, who is this woman?
Yeah, and then his line, obviously he was dealing with a lunatic who should be handled with extreme care.
So true.
Do you think she's crazier than Koryo? Or I should say
Yes.
Snow, like when Snow
Yeah,
becomes.
absolutely.
Yeah,
Yeah.
she's just a psychotic woman.
I love this. The bottom of page 114, she wrapped one of the pink snakes around her wrist like a bracelet and seemed to be admiring it. And I'm like, that's me.
I'm terrified.
It's not me relating to Dr. Gall.
Not surprising.
Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah, I would have never expected for there to be a greater villain
Same.
than Snow within his backstory. Like, I wouldn't have expected that.
Plot twist. Do you want someone so crazy and absolutely psychotic and
So I'm
creepy?
saying we can just have like another prequel of a prequel and we can have, Dr. Gall's childhood.
Oh my gosh. I don't even know what to envision there.
That would be cool.
And they were taught by someone scarier, and then they were taught by someone scarier, and then they were
Mhm.
taught
Yeah,
by
it's just
someone-
a vicious cycle.
Yeah.
Well, we get to Holly's favorite part
What's my favorite
on page
part?
The
115.
Avoxes?
Oh, I
Mhm.
hate this part.
This whole paragraph, like,
How's
Ugh.
humans with animal parts grafted to their bodies? Ugh. That's so sick.
this is wild.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it just makes me so sad for these humans.
I just hope they keep it in
I
the
do
film.
too. It's anyone's guess if they actually will, though.
I hope they
Mm.
do.
Then there's foreshadowing with the Jabberjays.
Mhm. Like, this is where
Yes.
Koryo's bird trauma begins.
Yes.
Page 1.
The hatred and usefulness of birds.
Bird
Yeah,
Trauma is the name of the new book coming out. Under Bird Trauma.
I've noticed a lot of foreshadowing of like different specifically catching fire arena tactics that are used
Mm.
within this
Interesting.
chapter. It's this one,
Yeah.
and I think there's
He's
another
like,
one
the
later on.
Jabberjays freaked me out, so perfect thing to put in the arena.
Right. Oh yes, and the same with the monkeys. They're housed
Oh.
in like the zoo area for the
Oh,
monkey exhibit,
yeah.
and then they end up using monkeys within the
Interesting.
catching fire arena. Yeah.
I love like the next page too, like 116, where he's just realizing how unsafe he is
Mm-hmm.
and how much the capital really isn't gonna protect anyone.
Mm-hmm.
and like you can really just see how much fear starts to completely drive him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think this is where he learns how useful fear is and governing and control. And he's really understanding how the arena and the Hunger Games, like the Hunger Games can exist outside of the arena, you know? Because then Katniss has the same revelation
Mhm.
within the trilogy. She sees the arena everywhere, and all this is like the same thing over and over. But instead of doing what Snow does and reinforce it, she dismantles it.
Also, he runs to the hospital eventually. And you can be like, oh, that's so nice. He's like running to the hospital to like check on his friend. But the paragraph before that, he's really just starting to spiral that if she dies or something, like if something bad happens to her, he's going to be in trouble.
Hmm.
So then that
Yeah.
culminates in him running to the hospital.
Right. Again, he can never do a kind thing.
Not a thing.
Mm-mm. But strangely, he found the only person he wanted to talk to was Lucy Gray.
That's what I was gonna say.
Hmm.
Yeah, isn't that interesting? Hmm.
And then we get foreshadowing with once he goes to actually physically go see Lucy Gray, and something bites Jessup's neck, and I'm like, oh, I hate that part.
Yeah.
The
that's
first
pretty
time I read it, I didn't think anything of it, of course, even though I knew I should have thought something of it.
There's something to think about everything.
Yeah, there's this weird theme of animals and poison and scents, and like it's just ugh.
And it's crazy how Lucy Gray is the one who comes up with alliances in the Hunger Games.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, I like that. I think it's just so weird though that like never before had, I guess it makes sense. If it's not really a show, how would you think to have an alliance with somebody? But I mean, like, out of 9 years, like not one, like two people turned to each other and said maybe we could help each other out. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't, I mean, that is kind of hard to believe, but you can make the case that since the Hunger Games are becoming more like a game now,
Mm-hmm.
they're having this mentality of starting to form like social alliances and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think there's also more time before they're thrown into the arena
Mm.
this year.
Oh, that's a
right?
good point.
So
Yes, you're
they
right.
probably didn't have much time to like talk to each other and like form alliances.
You're totally right. Yeah. Yeah. But it would make sense for a tribute to want to form an alliance though, because that comes from like a need of where they're at and a need for survival, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Like I didn't expect it to come from Lucy Gray, but it does make sense that it's from a tribute.
Yeah, that's very true. Because he was shocked by it.
Mm-hmm. He's just learning so much from her, and he's just gonna steal it all.
And use it against her, and then use it against everyone.
Yep.
Although right now I feel like this is the first part I get to where I think he genuinely feels concern, like he feels bad for her when they're talking. Like I don't really see in these pages any examples of him being concerned about himself or thinking kind of those like selfish thoughts about like what's going to happen to him.
Mm.
if she doesn't do well in the arena or if she dies before making it in. Like, I don't know. There aren't really any of those thoughts here in their
That's true.
conversation. So he finds out that she hasn't eaten in like 5 days. And they're just like worried about what they're going to do about that.
Yeah, if he didn't find a way to feed her, she'd be dead before the Hunger Games even began.
Yeah. But then he uses that as a more of a way to influence her to perform for the
Mhm.
interview. And he was
Yeah.
already trying to get her to do that in the first place.
And I like how she's thinking about what song she can sing. She's like, is it just shown to the capital or everyone? And she's like planning her
Oh.
revenge song for the districts.
Yes. Yes, yes.
Like, yes, Queen, share your story.
Yeah, I
Any-
mean, she's the one who brings up the singing, though.
Yeah, but she's the
Right.
one who asks, like, well, is it going to be shown to everyone?
Yeah, like I'm getting more of a sense that like she's playing him
Oh, yeah.
in
Well,
like
she just
through
wants
the
to
rest
show
of this
off
chapter.
She just wants to show off to, what's his name? Billy.
Oh, right.
Hmm.
And sing her song.
Yeah, she like uses that.
I'm like,
Well,
that is a
after
queen move.
yeah, well, after some prompting though, like seeing how she is starving and she may not last much longer, the interview looks like more and more like a good idea for her to do it. But now she's just going to use it to her advantage of like a revenge song.
She probably doubts that she's gonna survive. I mean, she's trying, but I mean,
Yeah.
in an arena full of so many people, you have to have a doubt.
Yeah.
Anything else on these chapters from tonight?
I think this is a weird part on the bottom of page 122. And then as if remembering something, she looked up at the sky. What was that?
Yeah. Yeah, I was
can't-
wondering about that.
I can't see that. I don't understand that.
Is she thinking about like Billy?
I guess so.
Hmm.
He says you do matter. Well, there's a lot of evidence to the contrary.
I mean, and they were just talking about singing, so maybe this is where she's kind of forming her idea of what she wants to do.
Potentially. I could see that because he's confessing something here and showing he could make the case he's being a little bit more vulnerable and saying like, "Oh, you do matter. You know, you matter to me." And she rattled her chains and gave them a tug. Like she sees him doing this and then she remembers her context and then maybe she's remembering, I don't know, she can manipulate him, I guess.
Yeah, or maybe she's just completely aware of what she's doing and just trying
Oh.
to make him, react, like say even more. She's just trying to suck him in,
That's good. Like she's performing.
Hmm.
Yeah. That would make sense. Because whenever I first read this, I'm like, I don't understand what's happening. But that would make sense.
Yeah, I just feel like she's playing him so much more than he's playing her at this point. He feels more genuine to me in
Yeah.
this whole interaction between the two of them. And I don't know, she doesn't at all to me.
No, I get that too.
Like she even says that, like, hey, I want you to know I don't really believe you're here for grades or glory. You're a rare bird. I don't know.
He
It
hates
just that
that.
just feels feels like she's just trying to like suck up to him.
I mean, but like, would you though? I would if I if I'm in her situation.
Oh yeah, yeah. I don't disagree with her actions at all. I just feel like he's really like falling for it
Mm.
at this point.
Yeah, I can see that. Mm.
And then he starts talking about Persephone Price.
Oh, dude, word
Oh my
times two.
gosh.
Oh,
That's so funny.
It's so funny how he thinks of her though.
Yeah. He's
Like-
like, she's attractive, but I can't think past this one
He
incident.
could never help wondering if she had known the ingredients of her wartime stew. Like, oh my gosh.
But now she only inspired disgust. Jeez.
Oh, that's all I had.
That's all, folks. Well,
Yeah.
I guess that was chapters 7 and 8. And if you haven't listened to our new episode, it's super fun. It was awesome. It was a great time to record. So go check that out.
Yeah, it was cool.
And you'll learn something new, I'm sure of it. Because
We
I learned
definitely
something.
did.
Yeah. And I guess, I mean, if no one else has anything else, that's it for tonight. The beautiful smiley face.
You're welcome.
Ooh, Jerry got the
And-
book today. Yay!
Oh,
Good.
nice.
Let us know what you think. It's so good.
And then the end of part 1 chapters next week, right?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, you mean? Oh wow, are we really that far into it?
It's already
Yeah.
mid-February. Can we talk about that? Time is flying.
I can't. I
I needed to
handle
fly a little faster. I needed to fly towards some ballad promo.
I know we need something to talk about during this other than ballad chapters.
I mean, we're gonna get something in March. Like, come on.
True.
You know,
Maybe.
No, it's
will.
gonna happen. We will. It's my birthday month. It has to happen.
Okay,
on.
okay. When it
Yeah.
has to.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Francis Lawrence knows. He knows.
Celebrating Gabby's birthday.
Woo! I already DM'd the Hunger Games account, so they're aware.
They got it taken care of.
Yeah,
Who's drawing on here?
that's definitely me.
It's beautiful.
It's pretty good.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah.
And now Jerry is joining with a nice smiley face. Well, perfect. Well, on that note, thank you for joining us tonight, and join us next week for us to finish chapter part 1. So yeah.